Welcome to this marvelous new video that delves into the history of the Transformers bots. The Transformers have enthralled fans with their epic fights between the noble Autobots and the villainous Decepticons since their introduction in the 1980s. But have you ever questioned where these incredible robots come from? How did they end up on this planet, and what exactly is their ultimate goal? In this video, we'll go deep into the Transformers' past and explore mysteries behind their development. We'll delve into the complex mythology that surrounds these iconic robots, from their beginnings on the faraway world of Cybertron up to their eventual appearance on Earth. As we go on this beautiful voyage into the realm of the Transformers, prepare to transform your knowledge and understanding of these mysterious bots. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Let's roll.
How was the first Transformer born? People have debated and speculated about the Transformers' origins for many years. The Transformers are presented as sentient machines with their own awareness and autonomous decision-making in the canon material. However, the issue of which individual or entity made them has never been satisfactorily answered. Many believe that there is no explicit reference to a creator or another entity being responsible for the birth of the Transformers in the original cartoon series or comics. They have instead proposed that the bots were made using substantial technology and science. Some also believe that the Transformers seemingly have their very own civilization in the world of Cybertron, on which they were developed by the Quintessons, a species of intelligent creatures. The origins of the Transformers thus remain obscure and rife with speculation. Let us walk you through some of these speculations and the basis of these theories. The One Theory. The Transformers series has a complicated backstory that explains the universe's beginnings, as well as the presence of two godlike creatures known as Primus and Unicron. Before the start of time, an extra-dimensional body known as the One was present, within which order and chaos coexisted. Unicron, an astral creature created by the One, was sent to explore the new cosmos. Primus was subsequently formed as Unicron's other half, with the two brothers symbolizing the fundamental notions of existence: good against evil, order versus chaos. This thread is continued in most versions of the narrative, since Primus represents good, order, and life as a whole. At the same time, Unicron embodies evil, chaos, and oblivion. Primus is unable to overcome Unicron in their ensuing combat. Primus conceals himself by staying inert, eventually becoming Cybertron and producing Transformer life. Unicron, however, transforms his planet into a robot body and proceeds to endanger the cosmos. The Autobot matrix of leadership, or the Allspark, embodies Primus' capacity to generate Transformer life. He makes Transformers in some versions before falling dormant, whereas Transformer intelligence emerges naturally in others. Regardless, his awakening piques Unicron's interest, leading to their confrontation. It's worth mentioning that the story's consistency differs between versions of the series. While most iterations depict Primus and Unicron as godlike creatures who have existed since the beginning of time, the animated TV show depicts Unicron as a creature created by a humanoid alien, a storyline that is widely disliked by fans. According to the first Marvel Comics book, the Transformers were formed by a collective of godlike entities known as the Primes. Primus, the seemingly benign deity, formed these Primes in the world of Cybertron. The Transformers were created to protect Cybertron from the wicked Unicron, who was busy devouring neighboring planets. The dynasty of Primes, which was the first wave of Transformers, was tremendously strong and possessed unique talents. Overall, the iteration of Transformers' intricate origin story provides a fascinating and innovative explanation for the beginnings of their civilization and the presence of these godlike entities. Quintesson Theory. The Transformers' origins have been shrouded in ambiguity, with several eras and versions presenting theories. The Quintessons, a species of biomechanical creatures that developed via technogenesis, produced the Transformers in specific versions of the narrative. The Quintessons created Cybertron, a civilization-sized factory that produced two kinds of robots: Decepticons for warfare and Autobots for work. The Transformers, who were initially built with artificial intelligence, revolted against their creators, commanded by Alpha Trion. Some 11 million years ago. The Quintessons were expelled from Cybertron as a result of their uprising, and the Autobots and Decepticons started to build their own civilizations. In spite of all this information, the subject of who or what produced the Quintessons remains unresolved. According to some speculations, they were an ancient race that developed and melded with their own science and technology, becoming primarily mechanical themselves. The speculations regarding their origin story make it clear that the Transformers' origins and creators continue to enthrall fans with their rich legends and intrigue. While different interpretations of the story may exist, the core ideas of rebellion, intelligence, and the fight for freedom remain consistent throughout the franchise. It's also worth noting that the IDW graphic novel series offers a distinct perspective on the Transformers Genesis narrative. The Quintessons had a significant influence on the genesis of the Transformers in this timeline. The Quintessons first created the Transformers to harness the might of Primus, the Transformers deity. The Quintessons were unable to manage Primus's life energy, and the Transformers finally revolted against their creators. This context adds a unique variation to the two standard origin myths by introducing the Quintessons' desire to tap into the power of an immortal being for their own ends. Furthermore, it emphasizes the notion of the Transformers revolting against their creators, emphasizing the constant fight for autonomy and independence that runs throughout the franchise. The Atechnogenesis Theory. The theory of atechnogenesis, which argues that these robots developed spontaneously through the interaction of motors, levers, and pulleys, was one of the early hypotheses behind the creation of the Transformers. This notion was initially presented in the first installment of the Marvel G1 comic, and it was then expanded upon in a manga. However, the majority of the Transformers fans, as well as the series creators, have largely dismissed it. Despite the popularity of the one theory, some followers still believe in the concept of atechnogenesis. Some of these fans, interestingly, see it as a kind of religious belief, similar to the creation tales of various real-world faiths. They regard the gradual transformation of gears and mechanisms into sentient creatures as a miracle and divine intervention, and they frequently maintain their views with the same intensity and passion as virtually every other religious belief structure. The Allspark Theory. The live-action Transformers film franchise provided a fresh look at the Transformers origin tale. Transformers were developed from non-sentient machineries like vehicles and aircraft, and given life by the power of the Allspark in this universe. The Allspark was presented as a potent artifact capable of creating and animating machines. Interestingly, the Allspark was formerly thought to be the very essence of Primus, the divine figure that made the Transformers. However, it eventually becomes apparent in the live-action films that the Allspark acts as an instrument for Primus to act through. This conception of the Allspark as Primus' vessel fits with the previous Transformers canon, in which Primus has been identified as the originator of everything that exists in Cybertron. Why were the Transformers made? The Transformers were developed for a variety of causes in various versions of the story. Therefore, there is no single correct answer. There are, however, several probable reasons. The Primes created the Transformers in the very first Marvel comic story to safeguard Cybertron from Unicron. This information appears in multiple volumes of the comic book series. The Transformers were developed by the ancient extraterrestrial culture known as the Quintessons to be used as laborers and soldiers according to the Generation 1 cartoon series. This is discussed in a number of episodes. The Transformers are supposed to have been designed as weapons of war in the live-action film series. Several additional hypotheses and speculations exist, but they have yet to be widely embraced. They are typically viewed as a joke or a source of curiosity among fans. How were they made? Despite being robots, the Transformers have a distinct method of creation that differs across the series' many continuities. Some explanations are clear, while others embrace the series' mystical and religious elements. Some continuities show Transformers reproducing in a biological manner with the formation of protoforms that build into the adult Transformers. In some instances, Transformers are produced through supernatural or religious methods. Other versions show the Cybertronian race evolving naturally from motors, levers, and pulleys. While a few of these justifications are supported by the authoritative sources, others appear to be speculative or specific to certain continuities. Finally, depending on the continuity, the method of creation for Transformers varies greatly, with some being more complicated and mystical than others. Let us explore these. Number 1. Budding. Transformers have a wide range of reproduction methods. Asexual budding was presented as a means of birth for early Transformers in the Generation 2 book series. Bubbles and abscesses of liquid metal develop on the chest of a robot, followed by a power discharge. This process becomes more intense until an enormous amount of liquid metal breaks away from the chest, hardening into a complete transformer. This social event is lost from the Transformer's consciousness until it is found and restored by the Cybertronian Empire. However, subsequent generations of robots created using this method become less sentient and emotionally charged. This is because Primus life energy becomes increasingly dispersed between them, culminating in the formation of a byproduct known as the swarm. Transformers' cellular structures include genetic material that is handed over from a parent to a kid during budding. In the IDW continuity, this gene material is known as CNA, and it is what is further modified to make female Transformers. Transformers that go through the budding process maintain a fundamental bond with their children, causing anguish and emotional sorrow when their offspring are killed. Number 2. Building. As shown in the very first season of the classic 1984 Generation 1 series, the most prevalent way for Transformers to carry on their species is to make other robots. In most instances, new Transformers are built from the ground up, necessitating the creation of a proper robotic body that comes to life when triggered. While this process appears simple, it is clear that developing an operational Transformer brain from scratch is difficult, as evidenced by the Dinobots and Technobots in the Generation 1 animation. Despite assertions in prior episodes of the series that a supercomputer called Vector Sigma is required to produce new Transformer life, the constructing from scratch method appears to be a feasible method of reproduction. Vector Sigma is shown as a technical instrument as opposed to the mythical creation matrix from the comic books, which gives weight to this theory. Vector Sigma's strong computational skills may allow it to build a functional mind and aid in the construction of new Transformers. Number 3. Cloning. In addition to other reproduction methods, the topic of clone Transformers has been investigated in several continuities. Cloning involves purposely or unintentionally separating a Transformer's spark into a pair, which results in Transformers with essentially similar robot modes and color schemes, but differing alternative modes. This idea was developed further in the cartoon series Transformers Animated and Transformers Prime, when Starscream was portrayed to be a prolific cloner. He utilized his own form and consciousness to construct clones from protoforms in both series. The clones in Transformers Prime were perfect reproductions of Starscream. However, in Transformers Animated, they had varied schemes of color and personalities, thereby becoming new characters within the series plot. Number 4. Hatching. Transformer hatchlings were introduced to the series in the Michael Bay movie Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. Small machines were shown emerging from pods before developing into full-size Transformers via a diet of metals and minerals in this film. The film didn't explain when these hatchlings grow into full-size machines, and it's unknown whether this life phase is exclusive to the Decepticons, given they were the only group that was shown employing it. Despite its significance to the film's narrative, the notion of Transformer hatchlings has been highly condemned by fans and reviewers alike, and it remains a contentious addition to the franchise. The concept was not included in any earlier Transformers story, and it is yet to be explored in later films. Therefore, the precise intricacies of this method of Transformer reproduction remain unknown. Number 5. Infusion. The process of producing a new Transformer form in several renditions of the Transformers series goes beyond just developing a machine. The shell must be injected with a vital energy, often known as a spark. This spark is usually obtained from a godlike external source, such as Vector Sigma in Generation 1, the Creation Matrix in Marvel comic books, or the Allspark in Beast-era animations and live-action movie continuity. In the Dreamwave continuity, there is an innovative way of spark infusion. Transformers start off as skeleton masses of partially constructed circuits that are called protoforms. These protoforms are stored in stasis capsules filled with nurturing nutrition gel. They may be created to precise requirements or left more general to grow organically when a spark is introduced. Even if the matrix is not present, a protoform can be given life by adjusting it to an energy frequency comparable to the matrix and then administering an intense burst of energon. This strategy, however, is resource intensive and is rarely employed. The Allspark from the movie continuity brings spark infusion to a whole new level. It has the ability to breathe life into any inanimate machine while also modifying its structure such that it may turn into a Cybertronian-style bot. In the Transformers animated universe, Allspark fragments demonstrate the same capacity to transform non-living devices into new Transformers. Outside of specific Toy Stories, the Allspark in the live-action films only develops non-sentient, animalistic life forms from regular machinery rather than fully fledged Cybertronians. This means that the Cybertronians may have evolved through time rather than directly developing into fully formed beings. Number 6. Resurrection. The mind or essence of an inactive Transformer can be transplanted into a new body, thereby reviving them. This process is poorly defined and changes across various continuities. This ability is linked to the strength of the Matrix or Allspark in certain tales. The monstrous Unicron is described in the Marvel comic book canon as producing new robot life from the ruins of non-Cybertronian robots striving to escape his clutches. Some fans believe Unicron was also involved in the development of the Technobots by Grimlock, an incredibly genius Transformer. There have been cases where the mental faculties of live Transformers have been duplicated and utilized to build new beings, and these bots might exist in multiple locations at the same time. If these bots have survived, there may now be 2 of each of them. This is implied by dialogue and specific stories in which Optimus Prime's Earth created Autobot automobiles were thought to have lived and thrived on Cybertron for thousands of years. Number 7. Sexual reproduction. Although both male and female forms are present throughout the majority of Transformers continuities and romance between them is typical, there is little evidence of sexual reproduction. This is most likely because Transformers material is mainly directed towards kids. In the Generation 1 animation, male-female romance might be interpreted as a byproduct of the Quintesson's cognitive programming, which closely mirrors the behavior of organic living forms that Transformers were designed to serve. There are just 2 cases in Generation 1 where male and female Transformer passion might result in the birth of children and the establishment of family units. The most significant proof of sexual reproduction, however, might be established from Beast Wars, where multiple off-color statements imply sexual intercourse among Transformers. It is uncertain if this is just recreational or a mechanism of reproduction. If sexual reproduction does indeed exist among Transformers, this will most likely require the merging of 2 beings to produce a new creature that combines their components. This procedure may be akin to the combiner team mergers seen in Transformers content. Marvelous verdict. The Transformers have caught the interest of fans across the globe with their epic fights, deep backstory, and iconic characters, from their obscure and disputed roots to their current prominence as a globally recognized phenomenon. To summarize, the origin story of the Transformers bots is complicated and multidimensional, with many continuities in media presenting their own views of the Transformers' origins, purpose, and mode of reproduction. The Transformers world has something for everyone, whether you favor the Generation 1 program, Marvel comic books, the Beast Wars series, or live-action movies. We can only speculate on what new tales and exploits await our favorite Autobots and Decepticons as we look ahead to the franchise's future. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.